But he had every right to be there. It was a public place, and he was exercising his right to film this. And you can see, if you're looking at the video feed, they've got a couple of copters on the ground and a couple more in the air, and there's the military officer telling him, you got to get going. See, if you're in uniform in America, you can order anybody around that you want. The rest of us who are not in uniforms of any type, we're just slaves, and we're supposed to obey any order that they give us, no matter how unlawful it is. And so he calls over someone in a blue uniform, and this guy says, you've got to shut it down. This is the video feed that we see right here. And he goes, I'm in a public area. And he goes, he says, you got to shut it down because you're in a public area. And he goes, exactly, I'm in a public area. I'm not trespassing. And he said, no, you're trespassing. And he basically then gets rough with him and handcuffs him, arrests him, takes his phone out of his pocket, throws it on the ground, tries to break it. It didn't break, so we have a record of what happened. That's the kind of intimidation that we're seeing from a police state. It's kind of hard to tell the difference anymore between the police and the military. The police are acting like the military. They're arming themselves like the military. And we've got the military thinking that they can boss us around. Of course, the police don't have a right to boss us around either, but they assume that. They're presuming that, I should say. And we need to get together. Something to think about on this 4th of July. What are you going to do to resist this burgeoning tyranny? What are you going to do to get the police under control? And we got Alex back on the phone line. Tell us what you're seeing there now, Alex.
Absolutely. Again, the magic of audio Skype, but occasionally it isn't working too well. Can you hear me now, David?
Yeah, coming through clear.
Yeah, no, it's funny what you're saying right now. I have this epiphany all the time, but it gets more and more intense every day. Just how right we've been, just how accurate we've been. And I'm not patting myself on the back. We are just recognizing what is in our face, completely open. And I want to say something about what Edwin Vieira said earlier. He's a great constitutional lawyer, one of the foremost in the nation. I still think he's buying into some of their propaganda, and I've chastised some of my reporters for this, and then I've sat there and proven it to them. And I don't know everything, but I have immersed myself in this for 20 years, probably like nobody else, and I've learned the tricks of the enemy, and I learn more every year now than I learned the previous decade. It's amazing. But this is a simple trick. They put out these fake polls saying Americans support being spied on. Americans support the TSA. Americans support drones. And if you go look at the groups that put those polls out, and you go actually read how the questions were asked, or the demographics, they have phone trees and known respondents that they know what answer will give them. You go look, though, at other more scientific polls, it shows the polar opposite. Congress has a 10% approval rating in Gallup polls that ask the questions responsively and in a way that is meant to actually get what the people are saying. These push polls are spins. And what they're meant to do is convince people that you're all alone and to demoralize you so that you basically accept everything that's going on, everything that's happening. So, I hear my own reporters who are really smart. I hear Edwin Vieira, who's probably smarter than I am in most ways, saying, oh, it's terrible, people are accepting this. As if they make it, like we think we're getting safer because of this. But that's not actually what's happening. But there is a psyop there. People then see those polls and feel like they're alone and then feel like they can do nothing. They're not accepting it. They just feel broke back. They feel broken. They feel like they can be walked all over. This is a military program by the globalists against all of us. When I say our military, I don't mean our military. It's important for the PSYOP to not be effective against us to understand we're all under this global, scientific, technocratic, high-tech system that the wealth of the West was able to develop. And the elite is on such a power trip to have all these advanced technologies of flicker rates on TV and semantical manipulation and trauma-based mind control and the acclimation programs and the subliminals and the neuro-linguistic programming and all the layers that they stack onto this. But the issue is it's all blown back on them as well. When you look at how they're behaving and how the establishment is operating, they're now some of the most low-functioning people out there because they're humans too. There's no way they're going to set up this high-tech technocracy and get away with this. And so I think it's absolutely important for everybody to understand that this is not our opinion. And if anything, where I have failed the listeners, and I want to apologize for this, is not stating the full magnitude and breaking it down logistically from A to Z. Instead, I tend to cover certain quadrants of things. But again, no one's perfect. But, the real reason I wanted to call in here and go into overdrive is that what you were just saying, they're organizing militarily against us. They're saying the patriots and liberty lovers are the new terrorists, which we knew was going on behind the scenes, now public. They are engaging in open military domination domestically to prepare us so that if they engage in real warfare against us, we're acclimated like dodo birds and just sit there while the sailors beat our brains out. As the sailors would land, and the dodo birds have been acclimated not to be as scared. They had become, really the opposite of domesticated. You can domesticate something where it's not scared. That's what's happening to us. With the dodo birds, they've never been had predators after them, so it was basically a hyper.
That's right. You're talking about training versus education. That's what we were talking about. Yeah. We got you back. Go ahead. I think we've got you.
No, it's just that, absolutely, jump in any time, David. There's just some latency via this audio Skype. But I'm coming through clear, correct?
Yes, we've got you now.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's a 2-second latency. So the issue here is that this is not our opinion, and people out there have to make a decision about all this evil, about the corruption, because it's not just them having the doomsday plane buzz Austin to condition the public that they can do whatever they want, that they're above the law. They are engineering the GMO to sterilize you and your family. It grows poisonous pesticides in all the major...
I think we lost a little bit of contact there, didn't we, guys, with him? I think it dropped out for a moment here. As Alex is saying, this isn't just a psyop. There is actually real things that the government is doing. And that's why we said you need to be the resistance. That's why we were taking calls before this happened. We wanted to know exactly what you're doing to fight this. We need to organize. We need to hang together. We need to establish things like constitutional state militias. We need to get out and protest the fact that our Fourth Amendment is being declared null and void, essentially. And along those lines, remember that there is a Restore the Fourth protest that's going on in over 100 cities across America. You can find out about that at restorethefourth.net. You'll find detailed list of all the different protest organizations, locations rather, that they're going to have it. I just got this in from Chris. It's an NSA protest. Good. And this is sent to us by Joel Skousen. He says that there's going to be a protest rally at the entrance to the new Utah Data Center, 9 a.m., 4th of July. That's very important because that is where they are taking all of our information to be stored indefinitely so they can mine that in the future. So to repeat that, there is going to be a protest rally tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., 4th of July, at the new Utah Data Center. Very important to get there. That's in Bluffdale, Utah. The National Security Agency's colossal Bluffdale, Utah Data Center is about to become operational because the dismissive attitude of the U.S. federal government with respect to our formally guaranteed right of privacy, as well as the inestimable power of the emergent quantum computer technology, which will be employed at that site. The last vestiges of a way of life bequeathed to us by our founding fathers, paid for by 8 years of struggle against the British Empire and every other war we've been in, is about to come to an end if we don't stand up and do something about it. This is the time to do something about it. A crisis is a danger and an opportunity. We have an opportunity now to do something, but we also are in great danger if we don't do anything. And we've got Alex back on the line. Alex.
Absolutely, very eloquent. I was saying people should resist and speak out any way they can. I can't think of a better way than whoever's listening. And again, I want to say this about the InfoWars crew. We're in the trenches 24/7. You can hear me on air every time I'm on a short vacation, calling in, with desperate, orders and just, desperately trying to coordinate my overworked, really smart and intelligent, crew and trying to keep everybody focused and realizing how important this work is. It's very sad that Infowars.com is the best there is, because we're not arrogant. We are the biggest and best thing there is in this fight, and look how ragtag we are. And because we're aware of this info, and we understand it's diabolical, and we understand that they're now just hiding tyranny and its expansion in plain view, and that 5 years ago when they built the NSA command base in San Antonio, that's gargantuan, If local newspapers, San Antonio Express News and others would go there, they would actually arrest falsely on public property, just on the sidewalk, reporters. Our reporters went down there, and I told them, hand them a news article about the Supreme Court saying they can't arrest people for, covering NSA buildings, and the police backed off just by saying, look, we're not your slaves. We're here. We're allowed to show this. That is a great idea. We can't lead every fight, though. I mean, and our reporters have been down there. I've been down there. We've been down there over and over again the last 5 years while they were building it, and then it was completed 2 years ago. It took them 3 years to build it. All of our listeners listening right now on 90.1, listening on the internet in Texas, you should all be there at high noon at the main entrance. It's just a public sidewalk there to protest the NSA. They don't even want a discussion that they're there illegally listening to everything we're doing, not to stop terrorism. Our government runs Al-Qaeda.
That's right.
Go there. Cover that. Print off where it's not illegal to film government buildings, and hand them those Washington Post articles, when they're there. Don't just go to the big data center, spy center, Nazi center that they're building in Utah. Go to the one in Fort Meade, Maryland. Go to the one in San Antonio, Texas. Everybody, high noon on Saturday. It's time for you to be the leaders.
That's right.
David Knight, am I coming through to you clear?
Yes, very, very much so. And there's one thing I didn't read from this announcement that we got from Joel Skousen. He said, please join Dr. A. True Ott, myself, and others as we gather, and this is where it is, near the intersection of Redwood Road and the access road to the facility that's just south of Camp Williams. And that rally is going to be at 9 a.m. tomorrow, 4th of July, a peaceful rally to draw attention to the capability and the threat posed by this establishment. That's something we probably should get out on the website, because we're just in overdrive right now. Yeah, that's a key thing. By the
way, why don't we call Skousen right now, his cell, everything, and see if we can get 10 minutes on this on the nightly news? Because I said Saturday, July 4th, the day to do it. It's just that I don't think on my show we can organize something in San Antonio and Maryland. I think we should have Mourning the Death of America Saturday. And again, I'm not going to be there. Our crew's overworked. We're in the front lines. We need relief. We need you out there. There will be local media coverage as the American people stand up to this criminal takeover. But absolutely everybody should be there tomorrow outside Salt Lake City, Utah, with real American patriots. If you live in Utah or surrounding areas, don't go get drunk. Don't go watch stupid fireworks. Don't go sit there and watch F-16s that are meant for you and your family, and drones. They don't have drones at these things, flying over you. Now is the time to let them know that we're on the offense, because we've gone from them trying to intimidate people and saying you can't go cover the NSA to them now admitting that, of course, you're allowed to videotape the NSA. This is the lawlessness of these tyrants. Look, they've got re-education camps built. That's in the official FEMA documents. That's in the Army manuals. They'll put us in these if they can normalize it and get the police and military to go along with it. We're fighting an info war so that they can't normalize all of this right now. We are in a total 150% emergency situation as everything is confirmed. I just wanted to say this. I had the epiphany was this. They admit Facebook's hooked in with the CIA and the NSA, David Knight, and listeners. And this happened 3 years ago to us at Infowars.com. It happened to Darren McBreen last year. Now it's finally in the news. When you go to log into your Facebook that they know is yours, they won't just make you show them your driver's license now and scan it and send it to them as they made us do. They'll say, are these your high school friends? Are these your college buddies at some party I was at, 20 years ago? And I don't remember these guys' names, but it was them. It reminded me of their names. They now have data that far back uploaded. And what it's doing is they admit Facebook is teamed up with the NSA and DARPA trying to build an artificial intelligence. Google's doing it as well. When the computer makes you and give it.
And we just lost Alex there. A large part of that's going on with Facebook is really training. And we're trying to educate people to not be trained by the government to give up your privacy, to think that it isn't any big deal if the government knows every detail of your life. And we got you back now, Alex. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Sorry, we had a drop. It dropped at the absolute key point. The point is that Google, Facebook, when it shows